Son of a...
Welcome to this issue of Mad Murphy, where I take a few topics that are pissing me off and simply rant about them. I'm in no way an expert on any of these topics. These are simply my opinions based off of what I've seen, heard, or read. And if anything I have to say angers you, just get over it. If you wish to make a counterpoint on any of these topics, please feel free to email me with the WHP contact form at wellhey.com/contact, or simply add a comment to this video. I will not and absolutely refuse to address any idiot who wants to start a screaming match with me by starting off, including, or ending with insults. These are just my opinions, just as you are entitled to yours. So if you want my respect and have a mature debate, you may want to start off with some respect as well. You ready? Let's dive right in. Holy fuck, another season of this shit. I was hoping for a bit of society improvement, and I guess some things have gotten better, but this one was requested, so I guess not too much has changed. Why is the joke, "I need an adult," so funny? Some of the people I know are in their late teens, so they're not technically adults, but some of the others are over 21, and they still make this joke. Why? You are an adult. Why should you need one? There are so many posters I see making the joke, "I don't know how to adult," or "growing up is hard," and I just don't get why these are so popular with millennials. Is the physical process of maturing painful? Does it actually hurt to grow taller? Is the added ability to drink like a fish too psychologically taxing? And then I thought about it. It's not the physical aspect, it's the mental aspect. So it must mean that the brain takes on too much when growing up and you are plagued with constant migraines. No, that's not it. So what is it? Why is adulting so hard? It's hard because you are not given the proper skills and tools to make the transition into adulthood smoother. It was a sudden jolt rather than a gradual transformation like those before you. Remember that video I had about proper parenting? This is the result of improper parenting. You have no clue what you're up against. You were never taught to fly, and now you are plummeting out of the nest to your death. There is an entire generation of parents out there that were taught that they had to have kids, or that they were supposed to have kids, or that having kids would increase their social status. But when it came to the responsibility of actually raising them, they mostly drew blanks. You just can't pump a baby out, pin a $100 bill to his diaper, and wish it the best of luck. That's child cruelty. You would be immediately jailed for that. So why is it that destroying any chance of them succeeding immediately is a crime, but destroying any chance of them succeeding over a long period of time is not? That remains to be seen, and we won't get into the whole abuse aspect of this, but when you think of it, not preparing your child for tomorrow is, in fact, a form of abuse. People don't like to think about tomorrow. Why? Because it's not today. I see a lot of this now. People are focused on today because they live for yesterday and completely forget that tomorrow is coming soon. And then tomorrow comes and people all complain, "No one said there was going to be a tomorrow." I have face-palmed so much in the last 5 years that I have a permanent hand-shaped tattoo on my forehead. I've realized that when people say, "I need an adult," they really mean, "I can't handle this," or "I can't deal with this." And that realization makes me even more angry. Someone just talked about their penis. How can you not handle that? It may be out of place and inappropriate, but you can handle it. It's not the worst thing that'll happen to you. And in that, I have realized that maybe they can't. Maybe they haven't the tools and skills to deal with simple shit like that. Maybe they've been guarded for so long that when they're forced to deal with stuff that happens in the real world, they have no idea how to deal with it. Maybe that's it. Maybe you just don't know that you've been sheltered your entire life, and that when you set one foot into the real world, that everything is going to change, that no one is going to protect you any longer, that no one is going to cover for you any longer, that no one is going to be there for you when you screw up any longer. And that is what scares you. You should have been taught this a long time ago. You should have been in adult training since you started kindergarten. You should have been testing the waters of the deep end, learning how to swim, maybe jumping in and seeing if you can do it all on your own while you were under the protection of your parents. This is a parent's job. They were entrusted with the task of filling up this tiny vessel with the skills and tools to survive once they left the nest. And many of them didn't, for the reasons I listed before. Remember all those times when you were a kid when you said, I want to be a grown-up? Or all those times you say now, well, I'm practically a grown-up. What happened to that? Now that you're a grown-up, you want to be a kid again. It's because you weren't prepared. You were taught that shoving a pill down your throat is much easier than actually sitting down with you and talking about what's bugging you. And I honestly believe that if you have some form of social anxiety today, that if you had an open line of communication with your parents, 75% of those social anxieties simply wouldn't exist. But they do exist because many parents took the easy way out. They gave you the pill. They forced medication into you. They told you to go to that shrink. They said you needed Jesus. And all this time, you didn't need them to solve your teen angst or make the bullies stop picking on you. You just needed acknowledgement. You needed validation. You needed it just to be recognized that what you're feeling is real and not in your head. See, that's what I see today. It's not really about entitlement. It's not about selfishness or sexuality or gender issues or anything like that. You just want to feel that whatever you are feeling, it's not wrong. It is what it is because you are you. You are going to be different from Joe Schmo because you are you and Joe Schmo is Joe Schmo. And once you are comfortable with who you are, then you can begin to tackle dealing with everybody else. Unfortunately, that is not how the world works. Nobody's perfect, and even parents can be completely full of shit. They say horrible things like, why can't you be more like your brother? Or, I don't understand why you just can't understand this. Or, because I said so. Or, as long as you live under my roof, you will live by my rules. Now, some of those are acceptable when talking about doing bad things, like lying or stealing or harming siblings, but not when trying to express how you feel about yourself. But I digress. Point being, you all feel unprepared for adulthood. I've always looked at life as a role-playing game. You start off at level 1. You learn how to walk and talk and eat solid food. At level 5, you learn how to read, write, ride a bike. At level 16, you learn how to drive and make out with someone underneath the bleachers. At level 21, you learn how to drink and smoke and party and wake up in a field with no memory of how you got there the night before. Then, tutorial's over. Now it's your turn to take the adventure wherever you want it to go. Some take it to awesome heights, to far lands and defeat many obstacles and reach level 99. Some never go anywhere. Stay with mom and dad because it's safe and maybe reach level 30. Adulthood should not be scary. In fact, you should be looking forward to it. Look at everything you can do when you're an adult. You can drink like a fish, do all the drugs you want, stay out late, gamble, vote, and that's some good shit right there. But with great power comes great responsibility, and it's sad that many of you think that is only applicable to Peter Parker. But if you want to stay out all night, you need money to afford it. So you'll need to get a job. But if you stay out too late on a night where you'll need to get up early the next day to go to said job, that may affect your employment. You can have all the sex you want, but you need to be mindful with whom you sleep with and carry protection, or it may burn when you pee and then you won't want to have sex anymore. You may be listening to a video about the aversion to adulthood, only pick up on one minor detail about how you get to have sex, but since you're asexual, you only focus on that. Throw a hissy fit that I didn't include you and miss the rest of the message. So now you're no more closer to figuring out how to adult properly, because you only listened to what you wanted to listen to. See what I did there? I received a message from an individual on this topic who told me this. When I was young, I was terrified of being an adult. I didn't know how to pay my taxes, vote, hell, I hardly knew how to do my own laundry. I told my parents this, but they really didn't know what to say, but they did try. It was on me mostly to figure things out, which is pretty intimidating to me, but with the internet, it was a lot easier. I learned how to cook, the basics of taxes, the voting system somewhat, and my school helped me to teach the basics of how the U.S. government works too. With things like laundry, my mom helped me where she could. Eventually, it came time for me to get a job, and this also scared the crap out of me. But I eventually got one and learned even more. But it took me a while to get over that fear. Sure, I am just barely an adult now, but I feel like I'm finally figuring some things out. And it's a great feeling. I still have a lot of things I don't know yet, and I'll learn as I go, and improvise when I need to. See, this person gets it. Even though parents didn't know how to parent, they still tried and helped where they could. And actually, that is how you parent. But what I'm getting at is where their parents lacked, they made up for it by exerting themselves and expanding their knowledge and skills so that they can succeed as an adult. And I bet now they look back and ask themselves, what the fuck was I so scared of? Life is not a burden. It is not an existence of pain and misery and distress and persecution. Life is an adventure. It has always been an adventure filled with pitfalls and victories, with highs and lows, with happiness and misery, with beginnings and endings. Life has never been a straight line. And if that's what you were expecting, I got some bad news for you, bro. Life will break your heart, and it will lift your spirit. Life will confuse the fuck out of you, and it will enlighten your soul. It's okay to be scared, because life is a vast expanse of possibilities. There is no manual, because the book would just be too fucking big. It is the game, and those formative years are when you should have been learning how to play. There are things that matter and things that will waste your time. There are no immediate rewards, no Phoenix Downs and no save points and no end bosses. You just have to get out there and live. The only person right now who's holding you back is you. If you've stuck around this long, I want to thank you for letting me air out my grievances. And believe me, I got lots of them. So just let me close out with the usual. It doesn't matter what your religion is. I think we can all believe that treat others as you wish to be treated is a pretty decent rule to live by. So why don't we all stop the fighting and just treat each other the way we would like to be treated? You can never have too much of a good thing. Unless it's alcohol, then drink responsibly. I look at all of my friends and fans as younger brothers and sisters. I am not yelling simply to yell. I just don't want you to make the same mistakes I have. So if I go off on you individually, it's because I see you're about to hit that point where you're going to turn into me. And we can't have any more Murphys. The world can barely tolerate one. If you missed any of this Mad Murphy issue, the transcript will be posted on WellHey.com, so stop on by and enjoy the insanity. If you have a suggestion for a topic that you'd like to hear my opinion about, you can let me know in the comments or at WellHey.com/contact. As always, you can catch me and say hi on Tumblr and on YouTube. This is Murphy1976 of WellHey Productions, where we bring you colorful insanity to your drab, uneventful lives.